And welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Fanatics podcast. And also, welcome to new listeners. We have finally made our way onto Spotify, Anchor, Apple Music. So welcome to our new listeners as well. Whatever platform you're listening on, we're glad to have you here. A lot to talk about today. So a lot of news in the NFL going on with QB Carousels. We're going to briefly cover some NBA today.
We
also mock draft. Since some stuff happened during the last week, we have some revisions to talk about our mock draft. Big revisions actually that really shake things up.
Go for it.
I was gonna say then we'll finish up 17 through 32.
And Super Bowl preview.
We'll preview, but yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say it's very interesting because the big trade that happened. I'm like, oh, it should only affect one team from picks 1 through 16, and I'm like, well, this team opens up to that, and then this team's gonna get them, and then this team will get that, and then this team will get them, and it becomes like a domino effect.
Ultimately, I had 4 or 5 changes. I can't remember exactly, but
yeah, I had like 4 or 5 changes as well.
Anyway, that being said, let's get with it, huh?
Yeah. Don't forget, go ahead on Spotify, go ahead and follow us, download our episodes, listen to it. It really helps us out. Subscribe on YouTube, leave a comment, subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
All interactions are welcome.
Yeah. And then,
even if you want to call us stupid for our decision makings in our drafts, go for it.
Go for it. Oh, and then follow us on Twitter. It will pop up right here for video for viewers, and then for our listeners, it is on Twitter at fanatics_pod. And yeah, so now that that's out of the way, let's just kind of jump into the NBA news. The reason we want to discuss the NBA too is because of the title of this episode. Simply because we had a little courtside Karen at the Laker game, didn't we? Did you see that whole interaction?
I saw bits and pieces. I didn't see the whole thing, but it's laughable, really.
This woman, she gets kicked out of the game because she's not jesting LeBron. She is heckling him, almost stepping onto the court, flipping him off, cursing him out. And woman says she's 25. I don't know. The plastic surgery says differently.
She did not look 25. No.
She did not look, and her husband did not look like he was only 10 years older than her.
No.
Did you hear what LeBron said about that whole thing?
No.
He thought it was a father and his daughter. That's how either old the guy looked or young she looked, but. Hey.
Well, all the heckling doesn't matter. They still won, I think 107-99 or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't know what that whole deal was, but I'm pretty sure she's getting a lot of unwanted attention now.
Or wanted attention.
Whatever it is. I heard she actually apologized over the whole thing, is taking responsibility for your action. Yeah, all right.
Little too late.
Did that to begin with, but
yeah. They got kicked out of the game, and it's just stupid. But outside of that, let's just kind of go over the NBA. I believe right now the best team in the NBA is the Clippers. I'm not too shocked by it. Let's actually go to the standings here on my phone. We will go to the league. Okay. Or not, because it's only shown me. There we go. Okay. The best team in basketball actually is the Utah Jazz. They're 16-5. I don't know. The Utah Jazz always look like a great team, and then they make the playoffs, and you're just like,
they were ready for it. Yeah.
They're the Jazz. Clippers are 16-6, tied with the Lakers that are 16-6. So we have 3 Western teams, and then we hit Philadelphia, who is 15-6, Brooklyn's 14-9, Milwaukee's 12-8. Brooklyn looks good with all 3. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden.
They're high scoring. But then, like, you see the
They
games
have
they
no
played against
defense.
against the Cavaliers, and you go, what? Well, if that's gonna happen,
They have no defense. Like,
it's
yeah,
all offense. It's all
it's
based off
all
of
it's all
scoring.
offense, and it's very
It's like,
interesting, I think.
like, they're gonna allow 120 points or something like that, but they're gonna try to score 130, 140.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be the Golden State Warriors without the depth and without the defense. So, like you said, high scoring. They look like a team that will easily make playoffs, but they also look like a team that won't make the
They're gonna go up
championship.
against a team that has actual defense, and
Yeah. You're
it's
looking
just,
at like Celtics or
yeah.
somebody like that, and they probably won't be able to do much because, yes, they have three great players, but I don't know. Lakers
Still early
need.
though.
It is. It is. I mean, the highest is 16-6. So what is that? 22 games.
Yeah.
Lakers look like they need some help. Apparently, they were going to try to trade for Bradley Beal, who is very visibly frustrated with the Washington Wizards, and then he came out and said he didn't want to be traded from the Washington Wizards. So not exactly sure what's going on there. Clippers look pretty good. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything you wanna say on the NBA?
I mean, it's good so far. I mean, from what I've seen, I haven't watched a whole lot, but good job so far, I guess. With the whole, they're still in a bubble, aren't they? So, no, are they going back to?
Right now, they're in their own stadiums. They're allowing fans and stuff like that.
I haven't heard anything COVID-wise on them though, so
yeah,
sounds like they
somehow
got things under control.
the NFL and MLB could learn some lessons from Adam Silver. I don't know what he does, but I mean, there've been a few cases. Carl Anthony Towns got it after almost his entire family died from COVID during quarantine. And then he got it, and I feel really bad for Cat, but the NBA I feel has handled it right. NFL handled it very poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's all has to do with commissioner,
Yeah, if you really look at overall, commissioners in most leagues of any sport always seem to be like not necessarily hated, but there's always criticism about them.
But when it comes to the NBA, they got it.
Silver's just like, he's a good mix of everything for people like to get along. There's no like big problems that anybody has with him. Like anything that might pop up is usually pretty small.
Yeah.
He doesn't like visibly frustrate anybody enough to make them want him out or anything of that like type of deal. Unlike Roger Goodell, nobody wants him there.
Nobody wants him there. But somehow they re-voted him to stay a few years ago, and I don't understand why. But that's a topic for a different day, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. What is next on our show, Doc?
We got ourselves QB Carousel to talk about.
Ah, yes, the QB Carousel. So, as you heard at the beginning of the episode, we kind of alluded to it. So, why don't you open up the discussion with the mega trade that happened?
Oh, well, we got, who was it? Matthew Stafford traded to the Los Angeles Rams for, what was it, like 3 first-round picks?
I think it was 2 first-rounders, right?
They don't have a pick till 2024, so I think it's 2021, 2022. Wait, no, it's... Yeah, you're right. 2022, 2023, and a swap with Jared Goff for Matt Stafford, and I believe a 2023 third-round pick or something of that nature.
It was a third-round pick. I don't know what year. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I hate all the ads that like pop up whenever you're like reading something and you can only read a sentence at a time. I swear. Yeah, I think it's a 2023 third rounder.
Yes. Regardless, it's a third round pick somewhere of that nature. as we said, this is something we're going to discuss later. Is
Oh,
it's shaking up
no,
our
no, no,
mock
no.
drafts.
Hold on. Jared Goff, 2021 third rounder, 2022 first rounder, 2023 first rounder.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a third rounder, but I guess it's this year. As they don't have a first rounder this year because they gave it to the Jacksonville Jaguars for Jalen Ramsey.
Man. How would you grade? Who do you think won the trade, if anybody won the trade, or do you think it's actually fairly even?
I think this is a fairly even trade, but I'm going to give the edge to probably the Rams, actually.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a fairly even trade. Not that Goff or Stafford is even. I think it's more so of an even trade because the Lions get 2 first-round picks. In terms of quarterback play, obviously the Rams win it by far. They get off of Jared Goff and his ridiculous contract, and then they get arguably one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You know, you and I were very high on Stafford going into this year. He's going to be behind a great offensive line, great running backs, a top 2 defense.
Yeah, he's got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee. He's got things to work with, at least, you know. I feel like Detroit never really gave him a true running back to work with. Not one that was like the main feature back. You know, his receivers, Galladay is good, but you look at like Marvin Jones and go,
I like
right.
Galladay. Jones is inconsistent. The issue with Galladay, at least this season, is he was so hurt. You know, he didn't even more than like 3 games. And the issue with the Lions is, you know, they're losing almost all their receivers. But
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jared Goff or if Matthew Stafford would have wanted out anyway, you know.
Yeah. But outside of that, with the trade, he said he was open to being traded to every team except for the Patriots, which is where Matt Patricia went back. So it's either he doesn't like the Patriot way or he doesn't like Matt Patricia. I'm probably leaning towards Matt Patricia because he worked with Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia was bad.
So interesting stuff I heard about the whole trade too was the reason the Rams got him was that extra first rounder.
Yeah.
I heard that extra first rounder was given to them because they knew they were taking on Jared Goff's contract.
Interesting.
They paid a draft pick to get him to take Jared Goff.
I heard Washington football team made almost the exact same offer. It didn't say what quarterback they were going to trade. My guess is probably Smith. That would have to be my guess. And it was 2 first rounders. Or no, it was a first and a third rounder. And the Rams were able to make the trade more so because they offered that second first round pick.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Regardless, I think the immediate winner right now is the Rams. It all depends on what Detroit does with these picks. You can have as many first round picks as you want. If you do nothing with them, it's kind of pointless.
I mean, with the Lions front office, I'm more so thinking they're not going to do anything with it, but, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of competition out there in the NFC North.
So let's also discuss potential quarterback options that are out there between rumored quarterbacks that want trades, free agents, all this stuff. You know, you have quarterbacks out there that are rumored to want out, like Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, obviously, Carson Wentz, and then you have quote unquote free agents. You know, Dak Prescott. Oh my goodness, who else am I blinking on? Oh, and then I think Dak Prescott might be the only free agent. Oh no, Cam Newton. But then you have trade targets that people want. Like apparently Derek Carr is a hot commodity. Who knew? I'm trying to think of some other potential trade targets that were out there.
Sam Darnold, if they really want to skirt off him, could be a trade target.
Oh, and then Tua, but that's also because the Deshaun Watson factor that they would bring in Deshaun. But
Tua went out and actually said too he doesn't know if he's playing next season for this team. So it's like, oh well, we'll see what's going on, but it doesn't seem like he's hopeful.
It's very interesting because I was reading something. I think it was Adam Silver said out of the 32 teams, this was before the Stafford trade, only 8 teams that he could think of were basically guaranteed to have the same quarterback going into next season. It's Chiefs, Seahawks. Packers weren't even on the list because Rodgers wants out, and you have all these teams. Oh, and apparently Kirk Cousins is now a trade option.
Yeah, I heard Kirk Cousins was potentially looking at being traded as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there. This free agency could be so fun as an NFL fan. You're going into the season or into the post preseason, going, who's gonna be my quarterback? Even if right now Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback.
This is like something that we go through. I feel like in a cycle every about like 4 years or so. We just get like massive free agency like this.
But at this level, this is a pretty big level of potential. I mean, this is just quarterbacks. Later on we can discuss running back, wide receivers, because there's a lot of them hitting free agency.
Julio,
Will Fuller, Marvin Jones, any receiver that ever played for the Lions.
Allen Robinson. I mean, trades and free agency is going to be crazy.
Yeah,
but hey, we'll be here to cover it all for you too. So
we'll try to post updates on the Twitter sphere. Remind me later. I need to give you all the Twitter information if you don't already have it.
For sure.
I don't know. Any other notes on the QB carousel? Or I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. What do you think's the most likely one to happen right now? I'm curious.
Deshaun Watson to the Dolphins. Dolphins would get Deshaun, and the Texans would get Tua and maybe 3 first-round picks.
Yeah. I feel the same here about that. That's the most likely. I feel it's the scheme he fits best.
They have a great defense. They have a pretty dang good offense. That offensive line, I think they would lose their first round pick this year, which would negate what I'm going to discuss on how they would draft a running back. But I mean, if he goes to the Dolphins, I think that is honestly the best setup for him. And I think it's either that or the Jets is the most likely, but I don't think Jets necessarily want to get off Sam Darnold either. So
yeah, we're of a difference of opinion on that, but
yeah,
but we'll see what all goes on. We're going to be finding out probably here in the next few weeks, I'm sure.
I'm excited for it all. And then I guess we'll jump into
mock draft
the revisions. So this was your baby, so you go ahead and lead the mock draft discussion.
All right, give me 1 sec here. Get up the document.
I decided to be a genius and I typed the players' names. I typed the team they would go to. I didn't type what position. So if you see me stutter and freak out about not knowing what position this player is, that is why.
All right. I have our revisions 1 through 16 anyway, so I can tell you that. So things I think to start off stayed relatively simple. We both say Trevor Lawrence. I think Justin Fields goes to the Jets. You said Penny Sewell's probably going to go to the Jets. We both said Devontae Smith to Miami. Atlanta, I had Zach Wilson going to Atlanta. You had Justin Fields. I had Penny Sewell going to Cincinnati, and you had Rashawn Slater, both of them taking offensive line. So
yeah.
Philadelphia's taking Jamar Chase.
We both have that.
Yeah.
Here's the changes.
And here's the changes, yeah. So Rashawn Slater on my list is still available. And I think if you're going to send, Jared Goff over to Detroit, you need to protect him some because the offensive line, I don't know if Detroit had a horrible offensive line or an okay one, but the fact that you don't know about him means they're probably not that great. So I would say you probably need to start putting something around him. And I say Rashawn Slater's probably a good option for you.
I think he's the next best option behind Swell. But then me personally, I switched it up to Elijah Vera-Tucker, another great offensive lineman, obviously a top 3 one in the draft. So we both have them going offensive.
I believe he's top like interior defensive lineman or offensive lineman. So
yeah, so we both have him going offensive line. Got to protect whatever you have with Goff and whatever running backs you have, I guess.
yeah. So moving on, that means though down the line I have Carolina taking Trey Lance.
Yeah, and then I switched and I have the Panthers then taking, or I still have them taking Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson fits their system better, and I think Zach Wilson is arguably better quarterback than Trey Lance, but it's very close. So
I don't disagree, but he's already gone on my list, so
yeah.
I think they're just taking best available QB at that point. Next up, Denver. This stayed the same for me. Kwity Paye.
Stayed the same for me, I believe, Micah Parsons.
And then number 10, we have Dallas. We both have the same. Didn't change. Patrick Surtain the second. As we said, Dallas really needs that offensive line help or cornerback help.
Cornerback. Yeah.
They could probably use some offensive line help too. They were injured a lot.
But
the glaring need is defense.
Yes.
With the number 11 pick, the New York Giants, I haven't taken offensive lineman Elijah Vera Tucker.
I still have the Giants going Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye?
Yeah, as we discussed before, Giants need help both sides of the ball. It's nowhere really in particular. Anything they do's got to be an upgrade, I think. San Francisco, I have them taking Jalen Waddle. I feel like they're going to continue with some receiver depth.
Yeah, I have the 49ers still taking Caleb Farley. Need to replace Sherman or at least get great backup there. So
both of us have the Chargers taking Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah, that was the change for me. I originally had them going Elijah Vera Tucker, which you did too, huh?
Yes, I believe so. But regardless, the need does not change. You need to protect your quarterback, or else you'll start seeing injuries and stuff happen to them. And just look at Cincinnati. You know, it showed what happens when you don't protect your quarterback.
Yeah.
It may have hurt him pretty bad. Who knows what he's going to be like when he comes back? I wish the best, but we can never be certain about this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So best case scenario is you just don't let him get hit. All right, on to Minnesota. We both have the same pick for this one, Gregory Rousseau.
Didn't change there.
Yeah. I think the next one right here, did you change?
I did change. I originally had them taking Mac Jones, which we were both iffy on that. I now have the
New England, by the way.
Yeah, New England. I'm sorry. I now have Patriots taking Trey Lance. You have the Panthers taking him. Trey Lance is still a top option. If he does fall to the Patriots, would you pass that up? Probably not. So.
No, Bill Belichick doesn't like taking QBs in the first round, which is like one of the reasons I'm iffy on them taking a QB.
I know, but
I honestly feel like they may wait till third round or something and look at Ian Book or something like that.
I get it, but also we saw the glaring issue for the Patriots, and that the glaring issue was your quarterback. You have issues.
Glaring issues all offense. Which is why I have them taking Kyle Pitt.
But it runs through the quarterback, and if your quarterback can't even get the ball to his receivers, I don't know. I understand Kyle Pitt.
Who knows? Through free agency, we just may see a quarterback go there anyway.
Gronk goes back to New England.
Yeah, who knows? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Arizona. Caleb Farley is available here, so this is where I have him going.
Caleb Farley was taken by the Niners for me, so I have J.C. Horn going to the Cardinals.
Yeah, cornerback is a big need for them, especially with Peterson potentially leaving, or probably leaving, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they want to re-sign him either,
Yeah, he's definitely been better in his career than he has now, so they may be looking to move on. He's not young anymore. He's a little up there in age.
Yeah.
And so that's it for our revisions. We have done picks 1 through 16 revision. We will now move on to picks number 17 through 32.
I am excited about 17 through 32, if I'm being honest. I see a lot of defensive players going in the second half, and I'm excited about the potential here. I'm excited about it.
All right,
All
so
right.
yeah, moving on, we out of our mock draft 17 through 32, and number 17 on the list is the Las Vegas Raiders.
I almost said Oakland.
You know what? I still make that mistake too sometimes. It's like how I sometimes still call the Las Vegas, or not Las Vegas, the Los Angeles Chargers, the
Yeah,
San Diego
San
Chargers. I
Diego
still can't
Chargers.
get used to it.
Yeah, it's off. It feels odd, but
It doesn't feel right yet. I don't know why the LA Rams fit so much better than the Chargers did. Like I don't mess up. I never say St. Louis Rams,
no.
but I always like almost probably like 80% of the time still say San Diego Chargers.
Because we know when they first moved here, nobody wanted the Chargers, and it was like a whole thing. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. So without further ado, number 17 on the list, we got Micah Parsons for me, linebacker. He somehow managed to fall this far, and I don't see you passing up if he's right here.
I obviously would be with you. I just don't see him falling that far. So I have the Raiders taking a DT. I almost had them going OLB, but I had them going defensive tackle with Christian Barmore. That defensive line needed help last season. I mean, their entire defense needed help. But I
feel
it
stems from the defensive line. If your defensive line gets pressure, I don't feel like their corners or safeties are necessarily horrible, but when you let the play go on for 10 seconds, they're bound to get gassed and break away,
Which is why I have them going Barmore. I think he would be a great addition to that.
I'll be honest with you, like if Micah Parsons wasn't here, I probably would have said the same thing.
Yeah, he's a great player. This is why I mean, like, I'd be excited for the Raiders if I mean, obviously if
either
Micah Parsons falls, geez, I mean you're gonna be set at linebacker, but yeah,
unless
you
we
need
trade this away for Deshaun Watson.
Which is rumors. But then there's rumors that people want Derek Carr, so maybe you can pull in picks. Who knows? If
that's the case, we end up getting Mac Jones or something.
God, no, Mac Jones would not fit Gruden's system. You know who would?
No, not at all.
You know who would? Ian Book.
Ian Book or Texas quarterback, I think both kind of fit that scheme.
Yeah. I told Ellinger.
Yeah, Sam Ellinger. I feel I think both those guys are guys that are going to fall that might do better than half this QB draft class.
Yeah. You and I are both, I think, fairly high on Ian Book and Justin Fields, while a lot of people are lower on them. Just kind of like how it was with why am I blanking on Jalen Hurts? You and I were both very high.
We had a feeling he'd be good, and nobody was wanting to take him in that first round. He felt like mid-second,
And I think he proved people wrong, but
still gonna have to prove. But I mean, he only played a few games.
Yeah.
With all being said, pick number 18 is Miami. They've got this pick, I believe, from who was it? No, this is their pick. They got their first pick from Houston, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was part of the Houston
and
trade.
This is their pick where they would be right now. I have Miami taking Samuel Cosmi, offensive tackle.
That's a great pick. My issue, I mean not issue, but I have them taking Najee Harris. You and I have both said the Dolphins are already a good team. They're just almost a running back and a quarterback away. So let's say they stick with Tua. You get wide receiver help with Devonta Smith, and you have a thunder lightning approach with Najee Harris and Gaskin. And I think that is a roadmap to success, potentially winning the division too. I mean, Bills are good, but if the Dolphins can pull it off, they can be just as good as well.
Yeah. So with pick number 20, this is a Washington football team, or 19, sorry. Washington football team, I have them taking Mac Jones.
Washington football team, I have them getting help on the opposite side of Scary Terry, they're taking Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle for me has fallen pretty far, and if you wait until the second round, he won't be there. So you got to get help while you can.
Exactly.
For me, it was between
a
Waddle
lot of
and
wide receivers taken off in the first round this year.
Yeah. For me, it was between Waddle and Pitt, but I think Logan Thomas has almost cemented himself, and you definitely need wide receiver help because Terry can't be your only option.
No, I get that. They definitely need help, especially who is it? Mims? Is it Sims or is it Mims? There is he on? Is he a free agent next year? One of them's a free agent, I believe.
We have Sims, Mims, and Wims, and I don't know.
I don't know which one plays for who.
Mims is for the Jets.
So it's Sims, I believe.
I think it's Sims. Yeah, Sims is Cam Sims. Steven Sims? Cam Sims. He was signed in 2018. So he could be a restricted free agent. Oh, yeah, he could be restricted free agent.
Yeah, so it's a question of if you want to bring him back or not. I could definitely see them taking wide receiver. But I feel with Mac Jones slipping this far, I don't know if he'd make it to the second round from another team possibly taking him. Especially
Wait, what the hell?
What? Everything all right there?
I am lost. Washington has 2 Sims wide receivers. Oh. They have Cam Sims and Steven Sims.
Pretty sure it's Cam Sims.
Yes. I'm pretty sure it's Cam Sims as well.
Anyway.
I was so shook with that. But yeah, anyway, Jalen.
Going on. I think either way, QB, wide receiver, it's going to be something of that nature for them offensively. I think the defense is pretty solid, and you should invest maybe later in the draft, but for now, heavily on offense, I feel is their best options.
Yeah, the only reason I don't go Mac Jones is because I'm not high on Mac Jones.
But the reason I say they take him here is because he won't slip to the second round, I feel, to this spot again.
True, yeah.
I feel somebody might take that option on him. All right, pick number 20, we have Chicago, the Bears. I have them taking Rashad Bateman, wide receiver.
I have them taking Sam Cosmi. Bears needed offensive line help badly, and this is where they get it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I have them taken wide receiver just with the question mark with
A-Rob.
With A-Rob, and then Darnell Mooney. We don't know. I don't know with like his attitude and everything. I'm not sure if
dude was a troublemaker and a pass drop catcher, whatever. He couldn't catch.
Yeah, so I feel like Rashad Bateman's the best available wide receiver here, and that's who they would take. But yeah, can't go wrong with offensive line too. I just start feeling about offensive line at this point is it's starting to run thin, and you might be overdrafting for guys that may fall into the second or third.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. For your list to have Samuel Cosmi there, that's I think a great pick.
Yeah.
On to Indianapolis. I have Indianapolis taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Ooh, I have
linebacker.
Colts, right? Yeah. I have the Colts taking Kadarius Toney, wide receiver. I think he's the next best option behind Jalen Waddle. He has incredible route running ability, and he's a pretty durable receiver. So, with the question mark with T.Y. Hilton, and then I'm blanking on their second-year rookie receiver or whatever. Pittman, yeah. He had compartment syndrome in his leg. I think they need wide receiver help. They obviously need to get a quarterback, but I think through free agency, they're even going to just avoid quarterback and go wide receiver or whatever.
Yeah. Very well could be a potential possibility there. Moving on to the Tennessee Titans. This here is what I potentially think could be the steal of the draft. I have them taking Christian Barmore, who's fell all the way here to Tennessee.
Geez, yeah, if he fell all the way there, then yeah, you're gonna take him 100%.
And yeah, much like Las Vegas, I don't think their defensive backs are necessarily horrible. It's just you can't get that pressure, and the plays just extend, and you get beat.
But that defense was getting beat on every level, which is why I have them taking Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah.
There you go.
So,
yeah, defensive line, linebacker, you need help there in that the 3-4-4-3 area.
Yeah, it's that defense was getting beat on every level, and they had free agents that obviously didn't work out, and I think
thank God for
with the draft.
Thank God for Derrick Henry for them, or else this team may just be missing playoffs.
Yeah, I guarantee if they didn't have Derrick Henry, their entire playbook is useless because their entire playbook
it revolves around him.
RPO, right? So.
All right, on to the New York Jets. They've got this pick from the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for the safety. What's his name? Jamal Adams. And I think the New York Jets at this position replace that safety with Trevon Moehrig.
See, that's a really good pick. I just have them going linebacker with Azeez Ojulari. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. But, I do have them going defense. Once again, almost like the Titans, that team is getting beat on every level of defense. The only reason I don't have them going safety is because they did get our safety in the trade. And he was at least consistent enough. So, I just have him going linebacker with Azeez.
Mm-hmm. I also was slightly beginning to feel like they should maybe consider taking running back, but I didn't have them doing it.
I didn't have them doing it either. I was close, but
I think you might be able to wait next round.
And think about it. The head coach is a defensive mind, Robert Saleh.
So he's probably going to start working on that defense right away.
I would hope so.
On to Pittsburgh. Speaking of running back, Najee Harris is who I have going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I have Pittsburgh taking a running back as well. Obviously, James Conner is not your answer. To me, it was clear James Conner wasn't the answer almost from the very beginning.
Neither is Benny Snell, so.
No. Oh, my God, no. But I have them taking the next best running back option, Travis Etienne.
Yeah. So. I feel like that's really what stopped this team this season was, the lack of having that RPO style.
Or the fact that, they didn't have a run game. James Conner couldn't do anything.
One's affecting the other. The run game is affecting the run game. The run game affects the pass game.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, 100%. You're just stale.
Yeah. And, they started off, 11-0, and then they lost almost every single game after that. And it's because teams caught on, their offensive line.
You're going to pass, and when you run, we know the three-man rush is going to stop your running back somehow.
Yep. Oh no, James Conner went for he's going 5 yards. Nice.
How much did you need? 12, because you got a penalty that was 3rd and 12 or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I definitely know this. They need another running back.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Next up, we have Jacksonville, who got this pick here from the Los Angeles Rams in the trade for Jalen Ramsey. I have them taking Creed Humphrey, offensive line.
Yeah. No, I have them going offensive line as well. I just have them going Jackson Carman. Great offensive tackle. So I understand. We both have them fixing the O-line. Whoever their quarterback is going to be, probably Trevor Lawrence. But
most likely, unless you guys still believe in Minshew mania, but I'm starting to think they don't.
And, the reason I also went Jackson, too, is because he has the history of playing with Trevor. He's the OT.
I saw that in the draft, looking at all the players and, colleges they were from, so I can kind of look at that. And I was like, well, you might want to get a guy that has reputation with him,
Yeah, like a lot of people may not initially think like offensive tackle or lineman chemistry with the quarterback, as important as wide receiver help, but it's just as important. You have this guy who knows Trevor Lawrence
It's
is
kind
almost
of
ins and
like, yeah, kind of like almost Miami does the same thing. You got Tua playing with Najee Harris for you and Devontae Smith.
yeah,
They're
all three,
The Alabama
all three
Dolphins.
working together. Man, that'd be
Alabama
something,
Dolphins.
huh? Just getting that Bama
It's kind of
offense
like how
back.
Las Vegas started this drafting everybody from Clemson. It just became the Clemson Raiders.
Yeah.
Um, Next up, we got Cleveland. I have them going defense. Have them taking Joseph Osai, linebacker. If there was one area, if there was one area of need on that defense, it was linebacker. Um, your defensive tackles and edge guys are great. Corners, safeties playing good, but linebacker was the position of weakness. Especially when you go against like Lamar Jackson and stuff, when you need to stop him in the middle of that field area, you're gonna need help there.
Yeah.
So you had the same guy too, huh?
I did. They need help at linebacker there, and yeah, I mean, you have a great defensive line. I think he's also one of the like next best options available, and so the fact that it's on defense, especially a linebacker, I think works perfectly for them.
Yeah, I agree. On to Baltimore. I have Baltimore going wide receiver with Kadarius Toney.
See, I have them going a wide receiver with Rondale Moore. So they need wide receiver help. I don't know if they need wide receiver help or if they need quarterback help, because the quarterback they have is very inaccurate, and he already struggles to get it to wide receivers. But you definitely need to give him more options, and Rondale Moore is next best.
The thing I will say about Baltimore is like why I have them taking wide receiver, and like to your question, maybe they need quarterback help, but the reason I'm thinking from the mindset of the Baltimore Ravens that you still believe Lamar Jackson is your man, you think he just needs more, then yeah, you're going to go wide receiver.
Yeah, of course. They believe he's their franchise quarterback. Hell, I mean, he won MVP, so they're gonna be right in that wave. They rode the Joe Flacco Super Bowl wave for years, so they're gonna ride this Lamar Jackson MVP wave for many years. No matter, if he unproves himself, they're just gonna ride it. That's what they do. So, but yeah, wide receiver help. We both got that.
Next up, New Orleans. I have them taking Asante Samuel Jr., cornerback.
I have them going Zaven Collins, linebacker. I think cornerback, at least in my opinion, I think they're fairly good on. They needed help, I think, with defensive line and linebackers for the most part. The offensive line is fairly well. You potentially have your quarterback when Drew Brees retires. It's either going to be Taysom Hill or why am I blanking on this?
I've read a article about him. Not Taysom Hill, but what's his name? Yeah. Why are we blanking on names today, man?
What is going on? My God. Let me see. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. Thank you.
Jameis Winston. I read an article earlier that talked about New Orleans wants to sign him sooner rather than later. So it sounds like they're moving forward with Jameis.
It sounds like Michael Thomas wants him to. After they lost, Michael Thomas put out a tweet that I'm not gonna repeat it like verbatim, but basically he said defenses are going to figure you out when you can only throw 5-yard slots. That's a shot on how they ran the offense and on Drew Brees. And you and I have commented on Drew Brees not being able to throw that far. Jameis Winston to me is the polar opposite. He's mobile. He's going to throw deep. One long touchdown they had was from Jameis Winston. And I think, he's your future. So, I have them fixing up the defense, potentially making them a Super Bowl caliber team without Drew Brees. What? Crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I just have them taking corner knowing that you're in a division that has Calvin Ridley, who else? Julio Jones. Who's on the Panthers? You got DJ Moore. Then you got to go to Tampa Bay and literally go up against 4 different really good wide receivers.
If they re-sign them.
If they re-sign, I'm expecting them. They probably will if they want to have a good shot at winning. I feel like Tampa Bay is probably going to want to ride that train.
Totally random, but there's rumors that if Tampa Bay wins, Brady retires. I don't buy it.
I also heard something about Tom Brady saying he's pushing back retirement past 45. So.
Yep, I also heard the same rumor where he said, "Oh, my body will know when it's time to retire," and he's like, "It's not even close." Time.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not going to be surprised at this point if Tom Brady plays to 50.
Damn.
But we'll see. Anyway, that's the reason I have them going cornerback.
I get it.
Just because, you could be cycling guys out on the field, keeping them fresh. On to Green Bay. I have the Packers taking defensive line, Davion Nixon.
I have the Packers taking defensive end Jason Oweh. I can't say his last name. Oweh. I don't know.
Something of that nature. I know who he is, yeah.
That defense was bad.
Primarily against the run.
Which was where your defensive line comes in. So.
And when you got a division of David Montgomery and, a plethora of other running backs such as, what's his name? Why am I blanking on this one too?
Which
Minnesota.
Speaking of. Oh, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook. Man, I have brain fog down today, man.
Of running backs in Detroit, whatever one they want to run.
Adrian Peterson comes back, probably not, but you get the point. They're getting beat off the ball with the run constantly.
Yep. So they have to fix that defense. I almost had them going wide receiver, but then I was like, oh wait, they've never helped Aaron Rodgers offensively before. Why would they do it now? So that's also why I have them going defense.
Yeah, and it's like, if Aaron Rodgers is leaving, why do we care what he thinks?
There's rumors Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones are both gone because there's rumors they don't want to re-sign Aaron Jones because they got
A.J. Dillon. I think it is good enough to replace him. Honestly, from what I saw from A.J. Dillon, I really liked.
It's just A.J. Dillon didn't play that often, so I want to see more from him.
I think they do as well, so I understand why they may not want to re-sign Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
On to Buffalo. I have Buffalo taking Zaven Collins, edge.
Yeah, I have them going DE with Carlos Basham. I had Zaven Collins taken earlier, so Carlos Basham is almost the next best option here. And yeah, Buffalo's biggest issue outside of turnovers was definitely their defense. Their defense somehow stepped up in the playoffs, and I feel like proved me wrong a lot of the time. But when it came down to it, when they played the Chiefs, that defense couldn't really force pressure. And
against a not so necessarily great offensive line, it's
mediocre
right in the middle of the pack offensive line.
So this is how you can up your team there.
I agree. On to Tampa Bay. This was like a tough one to really think
Chiefs
about.
Winning, huh?
Just based off of what everybody else has.
So I'm just gonna say this: 31-32. I have Bucks Chiefs.
Interchangeable. They're not picking the same person.
Interchangeable because whoever the Chiefs take, the Bucks weren't gonna take, and vice versa.
Exactly.
So, putting that out there.
Yeah. Tampa Bay, I have taking Travis Etienne, running back.
I almost had them go running back, but they haven't really used their rookie running back that they drafted last year. So I don't have.
They're also they never really used the running back, and I hear that a lot of their running backs are going to possibly be leaving. So.
I mean, that's why I don't have them going running back though, because they have their rookie that they never used and they don't like to run anyway. But I have the Bucks going Trevon Moehrig that you had going significantly earlier than I did. If he fell this far, Bucks need help at safety. They need someone to cover the deeper passes. And
unlike other teams, it's like we know that the Buccaneers can get pressure, but sometimes it doesn't matter because the defensive backs aren't defending well.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have Kansas City, who I have taking Nick Bolton, linebacker.
Yep, I have Kansas City taking Nick Bolton as well. That's funny. That is funny because out of Kansas City, there were so many opportunities. I almost had them taking, I think his name is Leatherwood at lineman.
They do need the offensive line help, and it would be a good pick as well.
But linebacker, their defense is the worst part of their team, and that's simply why I went Nick Bolton.
Yeah. All right. So that wraps up our mock draft 1.0. A reminder to everybody that this is without trades. This is with teams just picking exactly where they are.
This isn't. I was gonna say this isn't exactly what we think. We're gonna start mock draft 2.0 next week, which is more so what we're gonna think. It's gonna include trades, and it's not necessarily gonna be like a trades galore. That's gonna be mock draft 3.0 where we just have a free for all.
It's just gonna be a ridiculous mock draft for anybody that wants to see like, oh, what happens if this would happen? Like there's 5 trades in the top 10 or something like that,
But mock draft 2.0 is going to be more so aligned with what we think. And potentially what you guys think. But like Wyatt said, this is just straight through, no trades except the ones that already happened, which included the Lions-Rams trade, even though that they didn't have a first rounder. It was to the Jags, but
Yeah. So yeah. With that being said, we'll get that all up into you guys next week. We'll do probably the same 1 through 16.
Yeah. I think 1 through 16 is a good point.
Yeah. So moving on to our last segment, and the segment a lot of you guys might be looking forward to or not, who knows, the Super Bowl preview. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Let me ask you, sir, are you excited for the game?
Not in particular.
Neither am I.
So for those that don't know, new listeners and whatnot, I am a Las Vegas Raiders fan. To see the Buccaneers and the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl is like a nightmare Super Bowl for me to watch. So there's that.
For me, I'm obviously a diehard Seahawks fan. So to see Brady in another Super Bowl and a team already claiming themselves to have only won one Super Bowl, a dynasty, I just want them both to fall. I'm not excited though. A lot of people are excited because it's the old GOAT versus the new GOAT, but people are too high on Patrick Mahomes already again, and it's ridiculous. I shared some Watkins quote with you the other day, and Sammy Watkins was asked if he's going to be returning to the Chiefs next year, and his response was, "Do I want to win a third ring? Of course I do." And he only
so he's
won
also
one
basically calling it a done deal already.
Yeah, I'm when the Chiefs won last year, they already said they're a dynasty. So I don't like Tom Brady. I don't like Patrick Mahomes.
But I don't like the cocky attitude of almost every Chiefs player on that team more than Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks. So
which is why alone I'm gonna be rooting for the Bucks. I hate to say it because I do not like Tom Brady, but I'm gonna be rooting for the Bucks.
If I had to have one of them win, it's the Bucks. Yeah.
Because I don't want to see another dynasty. I want to see these Chiefs players have a good slice of humble pie.
Yeah. As I
So
said, my favorite game last season was watching my team beat the Chiefs to humble them.
Yeah.
And then watching them go around on their field and dance and crap, just to rub it in, ha.
It's very funny because one of my favorite Seahawks wins over the past couple of years was when Patrick Mahomes was in his MVP season and Seattle whooped them. So,
yeah,
we're not Chiefs fans over here.
No, not at all. I never was.
Nope.
I'm
With,
what you would call a hater, probably, but
with that being said, I do think this is hard, but I think the Bucks take it simply because they have a better defense.
yeah, the high-flying offense. It's hard to say which one's better, but if I look at their defenses, I can tell you for sure which one I think is better, and that is the
The
Bucks.
Bucks. So here's the thing. We watched the Super Bowl last year. 49ers were one of the best defenses. Chiefs one of the best offenses. You know what they say? Defense wins championships. Kansas City would have lost last year if Jimmy Garoppolo made that throw. And that's simply because of the 49ers defense.
And that's a throw Tom Brady will make, and that's a play that Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, the
That's
guys
a
like that would
throw
make.
31 out of 32 quarterbacks would make. The 32nd quarterback that won it is Jimmy Garoppolo.
So, yeah.
A wide open Emmanuel Sanders. What's wrong with you, man?
It's
Oh
like,
my god.
it's kind of like the issue that we say, like, Russell Wilson has, like, just target the open guy. You don't got to make a gigantic play. Just go after the open guy.
Yep. But yeah, I think the defense has to step up. And that's ultimately what's going to get you the win. I mean, whenever the best ranked defense plays the best ranked offense, I think they said the best ranked defense wins like 99.9% of the time, at least in the Super Bowl. So I'm taking the Bucks simply because of that. I would say weapons wise, they're fairly similar. Bucks have better wide receivers overall.
But who has the best one? I would say the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, yeah. Tight end. Chiefs have the best tight end. Quarterback.
You look at Gronk and say he's still nothing to sneeze at. So
yeah, Chiefs have. I'll say Patrick Mahomes right now is better than Brady, but Brady has been in the league for over 20 years. He knows what he has to do. What Bruce Arians said is he's the one running this offense. I don't think the running backs are going to be a huge factor. But one of the ex-Steelers players is going to win a ring. So congrats to them. They did it before the Steelers made it.
That's pretty hilarious, isn't it? You got Le'Veon on the Chiefs and Antonio Brown on the Buccaneers.
The odds of them both making it to play each other were... I guarantee you the Steelers themselves had a better chance than these two facing each other in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like both these guys went to teams that they believe they can get their ring.
I think Brown just went to the Bucks because he likes Brady, if I'm being honest. Le'Veon went to the Chiefs simply because of a ring, which is another reason why I want the Chiefs to lose, because I think it would be hilarious if Le'Veon goes there. He's like, yeah, I would like to get my ring this year, which is why I'm going to the Chiefs, and then he doesn't win it. I think that'd be funny. It'd be very ironic. So.
Yeah.
So you have the Bucks winning as well?
I do, and it'll be close. I think like a 4 or 5 point game. I think it's still going to be pretty high scoring. I'd probably say like Bucks 30-26.
See, I have Bucks 31, Chiefs 27. So we're fairly close. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to discuss about the Super Bowl or anything?
Oh, did you hear like they're not going to be firing the cannons apparently unless they win?
Oh, the Bucks?
Yeah, the Bucks cannons.
Home field. I forgot about that.
Home field Super Bowl.
That's also, what? I'm more high on the Bucks now too. I forgot it was the home field Super Bowl. That is a big factor. Nobody's ever had a home field Super Bowl ever, but if you have had home field advantage in the playoffs, that's already big enough. Now, the biggest game ever in football history. Yeah, you don't have to travel. I'm taking the Bucks more so. Still 31-27, but I'm more high on them.
Yeah. Either way, this could also be a blowout one way or the other. I mean,
yeah. I mean, once again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win like 60-7. It's yeah. I'm just not excited simply because I think both teams are very overrated too. But that's just me.
They had favorable scenarios going into playoffs, I think.
Yeah.
But regardless, they've made it. Congratulations to them, and As much as I'm not looking forward to it, I'm still am excited for it.
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl. I mean, we're football fans at heart. No matter who our team is, we just love watching the sport.
We are fantasy fan addicts.
For those audio listeners, on my shirt, my sister got me for Christmas. It says Fantasy Fanatics. So our linen line will be Fantasy Fabrics. But outside of that, I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, I believe so.
So next week we'll discuss what happened in the Super Bowl. We will discuss Mock Draft 2.0, picks 1 through 16, and probably whatever news comes out in the sports world.
Yeah, who knows? We might get a big trade. Might see Deshaun Watson land somewhere else. Maybe not.
As of right now, it's probably going to be a 30-minute episode like last week's compared to this week's. But if we get those trades, it could be an episode like this week. It all depends on what happens in the sports world.
Yeah.
You want to close us out, though?
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, whatever platform you do. Follow us, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Follow our Twitter. I'm sure Dillon will get that all linked below for you.
At fantasy_pod. Go ahead and follow that. Let us know how bad our mock draft was. Let us know why you hate me because I said Patrick Mahomes isn't the GOAT. Let me know why Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. Let us know anything. Let us know who's going to win the Super Bowl,
Yeah. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening, watching, and we'll see you next time.
Signing off.